LeBron James seen doing evil hand signals.
There's this pyramid is in Indonesia. I think they found one, and there's another huge one. It's in Europe, right in Bosnia. I think it's Bosnia. But they're all over the place. They all had the gold up there. It was shooting all the energy up in there. The energy was hitting up there, kind of like we do with communications and SEALs and Nevis, near vertical incendiary skywave. So it shoots up like that, it hits, and it goes like this. And all that energy is just being pushed up into the atmosphere. And then amber, in the amber that they find real deep, and they find it, and they can take the atmosphere, because amber traps whatever atmosphere conditions are on Earth at that time, and they can test it and see how old it is through whatever other stuff is trapped in there, organics. So I know that this amber is 5,000 years old. And inside this amber is a little bit of air trapped. And they test that atmosphere inside the air, and what is it made up of? It's not the same atmosphere we're breathing right now. There's way more oxygen and way more energy in the atmosphere.
Do you think the Freemasons are still prevalent to this day?
It's on the back of your dollar, pyramid with an eye on it. You have something that where it says E pluribus unum, from one comes many. The Great Seal tells you everything. On the pyramid, it has 13 levels. The eagle, it's holding, the leaves, 13 leaves.
What's the 13 about? Is that the 13 colonies back in the day?
They mask it as the 13 colonies, but it's really the 13 bloodlines, 13 families. Rothschilds, all those guys who run the financial system.
Maybe you can break down the whole dollar for us. Can you do that?
So if you look at where the pyramid is, it's really the seal of Solomon. So if you connect the M, the A, the S, the O, and the N, it spells Mason. It goes upside down like this, and then like this. 2 pyramids. Did you see the owl on there? Secret owl?
No, where's that?
This is on your money, you guys. You guys spend this every day, and you guys never seen this.
I got a 20 and a 10 on me.
It has to be $1. I got $1. It's up here somewhere, right where the one is. You need a magnifying glass, but it's on there, right? And then it's Annuit Receptus, right? You know what that means?
No.
I'll break that down in Novus Ordo Seclorum, New Order of the Ages. Annuit Receptus means he signals the beginning. And God we trust. Which God are we talking about? God doesn't need money. So, Antichrist. We're in the beast system right now, you guys. This is why I love crypto, because it's the exact opposite of this shit. It's not even worth the paper it's printed on. So you mean to tell me you give all the power to a private entity, the Federal Reserve, not federal, nor have reserves, and they lend it out to us, and we got to pay it back with taxes and interest? Does that make sense to anybody?
No.
We should be revolutioning right now. We should be burning this bitch down right now. But everybody's going to work, dying over this. This is a scam system. And nobody even knows what the fuck this means. 13 levels, the 13 stars, the 13 arrows, all this stuff is on our dollar.
They really went deep on the details.
They did.
That's the part that always eludes me. So they really came in with this master plan, like, we're going to do this.
Yes.
To them. The 13 families said, we're going to do this. The Rockefellers, the Carnegies, Rothschilds, all these people said, we're going to do this.
She said, high school's not supposed to be just career and technical training. And I said, well, then what is it supposed to be? Because currently what it is a pipeline to college debt and student loans. The kids who do not get swept up in the student loan debt funnel are left to the wayside because teachers don't want to be college and career training people. It's interesting because when I see the unwillingness of a lot of teachers, I think, to pivot and actually do what is needed, because I think a lot of people are questioning exactly as you said, what is the point of this? Because before, if you're going to go to school, the point of it is to prepare you for the workforce. Actually, that was the original reason. And now, because they don't want to stop using that metric because it makes them feel good, it makes them feel smart, it makes it feel like they're pursuing some noble academic thing, it seems like, and this is from this teacher who was talking, she's fighting against essentially the evolution of high school education. It is broken, that's for sure. The amount of high schoolers that can barely read is embarrassingly high for our country. And when you get people who are refusing to focus on things that actually matter, like basic literacy and math skills, and then life skills, because that is what people actually need. They do not need college prep to get them to the next level to relearn what they learned in high school for more money, because that's what's going on with a lot of high schools.
Rap wearing skirts and dresses. NBA players like Russell Westbrook wearing dresses. That means they are emasculate. I don't care how much money they make. They've been butt broken. And so, as well as these women. See, the system,
excuse me,
for the most part, I got to say this as we end this. There's no white person called 50 cent, quarter, nickel, penny. Iced tea, ice cube, ice tray, ice bomb, ice tickle, 6'9", 2'9", 3'6", garbage, gorilla. We don't know who we are. We're the only group of people on the planet, we don't know who we are. So we call yourself gorilla, okay? You call yourself Snoop Dogg, Sneaky Cat, Big Fat, all of these slave names. Because there's still slaves here. I don't care how much money you make. The Simpsons says, you could be a multimillionaire, but only within the crab barrel system. If you attempt to be a billionaire outside of the system, Kobe, Nipsey Hussle, Chadwick Boseman, they will unalive you and take you out.
Let's talk about the passing of Whitney Houston. Fans of Whitney Houston and people in general have suspected there is much more to her passing than we truly know. First and foremost, looking at her autopsy, a striking detail will emerge. 6 hours after they say Whitney Houston had left this earth, detectives on scene decided to test her bathtub water for its temperature. 6 hours after she passed on, her bathtub water literally was 93 degrees. I found this clip of Dr. Drew talking about it in disbelief as well.
This is the report from the County of Los Angeles Department of Coroner. The Beverly Hills Police Department is still doing its own investigation, has said all along that they will close this case on receipt of this report. That hasn't happened just yet.
I don't think they should close it because this still leaves open the possibility of foul play. This weird, hot, super hot water.
Very hot water. Very odd. It's very odd.
How hot was it 6 hours before? And staying hot all day, there must be an explanation for that. I don't know what that is.
Quite simply, if you or I were to run a super hot bathtub and fall asleep in it for 6 hours, 6 hours later, it would not be the same temperature. That just makes zero sense. We also have the whole bathtub thing. For years, we've seen Hollywood celebrities depicted in bathtubs throughout their music videos, etc. Here we see Rihanna, here we see Dej Loaf, here we see T Swift. People for years have suggested and hypothesized that the bathtub may be symbolic for something dark. There's also a long list of celebrities that have been found in hot tubs or bathtubs. Matthew Perry happened to be found in a hot tub. Aaron Carter happened to be found in a bathtub. Go figure. Of course, Whitney Houston as well in a bathtub. But what are the chances that in 2015, Whitney Houston's daughter was also found in a bathtub? There are just way too many coincidences in this case at this point in my mind to be coincidence at all. There's also her connection with this man, which I'll dive into at some point. Comment below with anything I might have missed, your theory, or your idea for the next video. Wake up.
It's aired on TV in 2012. Keep watching.
Me! I must appease him with the gift of a man-child. Come to me. I must feed you. I must feed you to the northwest. No, take him. No, take the baby. Take the baby. Don't take me. The baby. I'm sure the baby will be fine.
Now, even knowing this was meant as a dark comedy sketch, we can't ignore how unsettling it is. Comedy often treads a fine line. Sometimes that line is crossed. Some regions, even around the world, have banned certain types of comedy sketches, especially when they touch on touchy subjects such as religion, politics, or morality. Why? Because people are easily offended and also expose things that people don't want to see. So yes, they say it was a joke, but it wasn't a good one. Maybe what's more interesting is what made us question and what we decided to forget. Let me know your thoughts and comments down below.
This prophecy of a Hopi chief. This prophecy goes back to where before the white man was in America. He had this whole sketch. So like obviously they didn't have a written language. It was all oral tradition. Then he said there's this separation at the end of this drawing where it's like it could either be chaos or it could be the coming of the great spirit again or the creator. It boiled down to one individual. It is known that our true white brother, when he comes, will be all powerful and will wear a red cap or a red cloak. He will be in large population belonging to no religion but his very own. He will bring with him the sacred stone tablets. With him there will be two great ones. One will have the symbol. It looked like just an X. Yeah. And when I read that, I just chills went down me. He mentioned that one of these people, the man with the X symbol, he said he will be a man of great invention. I'm just now understanding that. Yeah. Okay, wow.
We praise your name, Jesus, Lord, to protect us, to guide us, Lord, to see us through, to fight for us, to give us hope, in the name of Jesus.
When you looked up at the sky, could you actually see the stars and the solar corona in spite of the glare?
We were never able to see stars from the lunar surface or on the daylight side of the moon by eye without looking through the optics. I don't recall during the period of time that we were photographing the solar corona what stars we could see.
I don't remember seeing any. Neil, you were a little bit concerned, you said, about stubbing your toe at the point of landing because the surface was obscured by dust.
But an interesting thing is he was shot right during the question about guns, and that was the second person asking a question on the subject of guns. Most importantly, was talking about these transvestites who have guns, and should they be allowed to have a gun? And then boom, he was shot in the heart.
Every Keanu file in the Illuminati archive.
Okay, that's Keanu now, and here he is in Bram Stoker's Dracula in 1992. So he's barely aged a day. How old are these photos? And who are all these women? Hollywood immortals?
The Illuminati has spread their message using the charisma of actors for centuries. But get this, they found a way to keep them alive so their star power never dies.
Hollywood's leading men are making themselves immortal using the blood of young women. They're all hundreds of years old.
Every ageless leading man is one of them. Nicolas Cage, Brad Pitt, Larry David, and the most bloodthirsty of them all, Leonardo DiCaprio.
That's why they all date 19-year-old models who we never see again for their blood.
Hey, that's pretty good about that. You showed balance. 9 1/2 2 9 1/2 2 4 1. Okay. 9 3/8. 8 1/2 dick.
That's crazy.
Hey,
make no about it. If master say you can't do it, don't do it. They'll make an example out of you.
Yeah. I've always said that. You know what the shirts in the NFL used to say when I first got in?
What's that?
Property of. Got a better one for you. After 13 years in the National Football League, I wait 5 years to be inducted into the Hall of Fame, correct?
Correct.
Guess what else happens at 5 years? Your insurance just got turned off.
Didn't know that.
So for me, in my 13 years of going into the Hall, also now it's time for you to go find insurance. So who you know go insure somebody who played 65% of the snaps in the National Football League for 10 plus years in the trenches? That wouldn't be a very good investment for you as an insurance company, would it? This is the whole totality of it when I tell you about a system. From start to finish, from the time you walk in almost naked, because they love showing that Tom Brady thing, boy. Tom Brady looked bad in that combine, didn't he?
It's truly hilariously pathetic how many people defend sports. It's entertainment. I laugh at it. I don't even get mad when I talk about it. I don't need convincing. I played long enough to know it's been managed and touched. It don't bother me. If I don't ever predict a Super Bowl champion or a Super Bowl, I don't care. Nothing happens to me. That's why I don't do it. But I posted with not even what I said. I didn't say San Francisco and the Ravens were going to be in the Super Bowl. The TV said it. But people are mad at me as if I said it. I just posted the picture and said, oh, I guess. I didn't make that prediction. I'm only showing you what the TV said. I don't own a TV studio. I didn't go in there for jokes and laughs to slip in, oh, this is going to be the Super Bowl matchup. The TV did that. Bro, just say, this is my identity. My identity is with the National Football League. Just say that. I should just post the conversations I have with people on here because it's hilarious. And it's all a feminine spirit. It was a hyper-emotional feminine spirit that men and women show in this generation when they're confronted with the truth or they don't understand certain truths. If you don't understand symbolism, if you don't understand numerology, if you don't understand the powers that be because you're sitting so close to the TV and you don't want to see it, how are you going to say that I'm wrong and you use one post to try to validate all of my information that I posted? If you didn't understand what I posted before I even talked about football, you damn sure not going to understand it when I start going into it.
I've heard all the, everybody says, well, they didn't want Beast Mode to be the MVP. Pete wanted it to be Russ, or the NFL wanted it to be Russ, and whatever the case may be. But it doesn't make sense. I mean, I played the game for a long time. It doesn't make sense to me. I got 235-pound sledgehammer back there, and I'm going to throw a pass on the 1 yard line.
Yeah, it just don't make sense.
You almost scored on the play before. You ran it down to the 1.
You damn right. You know what I mean? So I realistically, like, man, when I think about it, I'm in a position where, you feel me, I don't get, upset or frustrated with it, but more so curious, like, because then you got all the possibilities. Did they not want you to be the Super Bowl MVP? Because if you're Super Bowl MVP, then you're the face of the NFL. They don't want that to be the case.
Aaron, before we start taping, Aaron was telling me about how the NFL's rigged and how every year he used to get a script. Day one of training camp that would get dropped off at his locker. And you would have to, it was like week 1, you'll do this. Week 2, you're going to have a hamstring injury. Week 3, this is going to happen. Week 4, you're going to get 3 touchdowns. And so then you just have to, did you memorize those before the season started? Or would you go and rehearse the script before every game?
We really dedicated to it. So it was more so like, that's what practice was about. It was about practicing the script. Like, this is what goes on. This is what we have to do. You know what it says.
And this referee's going to miss this call. Because they hate you, they love the Colts, that sort of thing.
WWF was like, we know what's going to happen, but you still got to put on a show.
What did you think when you got the script in 2016 that said your career was going to fall off a cliff when you stopped believing in God?
That was 2015.
Around there.
It was 2015. And oddly enough, the script writers didn't have anything to do with that, actually. It just had more so to do with they needed to change the scenery in Houston.
It's time to go?
Yeah, it's time to go. So they wanted to get everybody out of Houston. That was the ultimate goal. So that was what that was about.
So did y'all hear about that lady who was at the airport with a passport from Turenza, a country that's not in our world at all? Apparently, her documents was flawless. The chip scanned. All of the stamps appear to be countries that we've never heard of, all organically stamped on her passport, and everything about her passport gave off authentic. She said, oh, I must be in the wrong world. And they can't find her. She disappeared. So this guy made a video about putting his phone on airplane mode in December of 2014 or something like that. And then he finally took it off airplane mode this year, or a couple years ago, and he compared it to the current time period that we're in now, and this is what happened. So apparently, the phone that was on airplane mode since I think 2014, that phone was back in 2021 or 2023. I'm sorry, that phone. So we're in 2024. The phone was dated back to 2023, meaning time has actually sped up. That's what I've been saying. I've made several videos about how it does not feel right. It feels like the time has sped up. The time clock has been moving. It seems like how Jesus said it is the last hour. It seems like we are in the seconds, and it's looking like somebody's fast forwarding time from the outside of us, so we can't really see it. If you fast forward a movie, the people playing the movie can't feel the fact that they're being fast forwarded, but they are. In the same way, the creator can fast forward time where we can't feel it moving faster. But this whole thing, whether you want to think it's real or fake, this whole thing is kind of crazy because that means that we have lost over a year of time because of how fast it's, and think about that. A year is a long time. A year is a long time. So this is crazy. If you haven't seen this video, go check it out. It's Gabriel Diaz III. Go check it out because this is pretty insane. You need to see it for yourself.
Did you all hear what's going on in Las Vegas? Hotel occupancy is way down, nearly 15% lower than last year. And even casinos, I guess, aren't pulling the crowds like they used to. The average room price dropped to $163 a night. Buffets are going to run you about $100. Heck, a cup of coffee is going to be $9. And resort fees are draining people's wallets. One tourist flat out said Vegas isn't even any.
So I just went to Kroger and I just asked the guy in the meat shop, do you know where a lot of this stuff's coming from? And he's like, nope. I said, so you guys don't do any cutting anymore? He's like, nope. No processing? Nope. And you have no clue where the majority of the meat that you get and that you sell is coming from? Nope. Can you say anything other than nope? And he's like, look, man, I can't tell you anything about this. I said, God, that's almost like a conspiracy. He's like, look, can I help you with anything else? I'm like, okay, all right. And so I start going down these rabbit holes. I don't know about you, but our meat is off. Something wrong with it. Something very wrong with it. And if your meat purveyor, if your butcher doesn't know where the meat is coming from, chances are it's best if you just decide not to eat it. Because the expense to buy something that's not even real is way more than money. Trust me.
I'm telling y'all, they always hide the truth in plain sight.
Sure is. Make a deal with me, kid. You can have the car and everything that goes along with it.
Two things. That's a Freemason sign ring. And, wait a minute, that's obviously the devil.
By the way, people bring up things like Bigfoot and what have you. One last category of strangeness I haven't discussed that also gets thrown in here in the blender of confusion, the great scrambled huevos of our brains, is the things like that are actually interdimensional. So there are phenomena that are emerging from other dimensions that occasionally interface with this dimension of 3D space-time, and people will call them alien, but they're not. So this is a little more of a nuance, but since you brought it up earlier, I thought I'd provide that point of clarification. A lot of people will see something like that, and there is evidence which is strange, like Stranger Things, right? And those can be from another dimension, but they're not extraterrestrial. Extraterrestrial biological entity is from another star system and planet. But here's where you get the crossover confusion. To go from point A to B, they are dropping out of linear space-time and traversing other dimensions.
We represent protecting Texas children, and there's a lot of books in this particular library that are very harmful for little eyes.
Why are we having this in our libraries for kids? They're supposed to be learning about 1, 2, 3s instead of how to have sex and great children.
These are books that we've compiled. This is a whole list for all ages.
That's in here. 12-year-old section. Look up interviews with your favorite performers. Go to the sites they recommend and pay for your.
Can't bring your phone in. I'm like, first of all, who ain't bringing their phone in? I'm bringing my motherfucking phone in. I don't give a fuck who you is. It could be Kim Kardashian, and I'm bringing my phone. And then you gotta sign some papers. What am I signing some shit for to get into a party? Like what? Like I'm from Atlanta, we don't do shit like that. And then this is where it really threw me off. They said they had to prick your blood to get in. I said, oh no, I'm good. Everyone else went, I called my Uber and left.
Yeah, right.
Like that's the shit where I think they were trying to get you. And
A scientist just released footage that's making people question everything they thought they knew about our planet. The video appeared on obscure forums at 3 a.m., spreading like wildfire before authorities could contain it. Dr. Marcus Chen, a former aerospace engineer, spent 8 months in secret, building something extraordinary. A custom Raspberry Pi drone equipped with what he calls an uncompromised lens system. Unlike the curved fisheye cameras used by NASA and weather services, his setup uses a completely flat linear lens. No digital correction, no algorithmic adjustment, just pure, unfiltered reality. On March 15th, the drone began its ascent, transmitting crystal clear footage back to Chen's hidden ground station. Everything functioned perfectly as it climbed higher than any civilian drone had gone before. At 80,000 feet, the footage revealed something that shouldn't be possible. A perfectly straight horizon, no curvature, no bend, just an endless flat line that defied everything you've been told. But at exactly 85,000 feet, something went catastrophically wrong. The drone system showed green across the board, yet something was pulling it down.
It's not mechanical failure. Something is forcing it down.
The transmission cuts to black. Chen vanished that same night. The drone was never recovered. But the footage remains.
I know there's a lot they didn't tell us about Hurricane Katrina when it happened, but this always gets me. And that's that Brad Pitt set up a charity in New Orleans that was basically a scam and ruined people's lives. And this comes from the new Netflix documentary that just came out. And to show you how bad this charity was, let me tell you a story. So in 2007, Brad Pitt set up this charity called Make It Right, which promised to rebuild homes for some of the poorest residents in New Orleans who lost theirs. One of those people was this guy, Eli. He was able to move into one of the Make It Right houses relatively cheaply, and almost immediately he realizes that something is not right with this house. First off, all the plumbing in the house is wrong. Every time he showers, it leaks onto the floor, which was biodegradable, so it would get destroyed by the water, which is insane in an area that was just destroyed by a hurricane. And one morning, he straight up puts his foot through the floor of the bathroom because it is not made well. Also, he quickly realizes that the headquarters for Make It Right is now abandoned. The people that were there to make sure that everything was going right with people moving into the houses have fled the scene and they're nowhere to be found. So basically, the charity put up very cheap houses very fast in the area, got a lot of vulnerable people inside of them, and then the houses fell apart in a matter of sometimes months. And now a lot of those residents are trapped there because they don't have the money to repair the homes or move out. The documentary gets into a lot more. That is only one small tidbit, but yeah, you should check it out on Netflix.
And like the more and more I go down the Tartarian time frame of what makes sense to me is the 1,000. It's 1,000. The 1,000 missing years. J's in front of letters, and buildings were founded instead of built, and BS like Photoshop pictures of stuff being built and everything, and then making constructions on Tartarian structures, but they never add the same materials that it was built with. So if you built it, you will be able to add materials that it was built with. But I digress. I think that time, in my opinion, is the time that either Christ walked this earth or Christ left this earth and it was still cohesiveness and peacefulness, because now it's just evil motherfuckers walking around with masks on and y'all are believing them.